Let's talk about the main event this weekend. Arman Tsarukyan versus Mateusz Gamrot is a big matchup in the lightweight division. Two top 15 contenders squaring off against each other. And in my opinion, these guys basically might as well be ranked in the top 5. It's going to look like an elite level MMA fight between these two. I'm so glad that they've got the spotlight in the main event because, of course, originally they were supposed to be the co-main event, but we couldn't really find a main event for this card. So a couple of weeks ago, it got bumped up to the main event for 5 rounds. And I'm so glad it's got that spotlight because the winner of this one, in my opinion, is going to be fighting for the lightweight world championship in 2023, maybe towards the end of 2023, because I don't see many top lightweights like Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier really lining up to take on the winner of this matchup. They are good in all areas. I think Arman Tsarukyan is a slight bit better than Mateusz Gamrot, and I'll get to my prediction in a second, but I'm really looking forward to this one. In all honesty, if they weren't fighting each other now, I'd put good money on the fact that these two guys would meet for a belt someday in that division. Mateusz Gamrot is a little bit older. I think he's around 30 years of age. Of course, still coming into his prime. I think he's got a good 4 years left of doing good work in the lightweight division. But Arman Tsarukyan is 25 years of age. I don't think you're hearing me right. I don't think you're understanding the words I'm saying. The record that he has, the performance that he had against Islam Makhachev years ago. Arman Tsarukyan is 25 years of age. No. You're not understanding. 300 months old. 25 years of age. Arman Tsarukyan. Looking to be in the top 10 of the lightweight division and look towards that title elimination bout or a fight that's going to get him towards that title elimination bout in the 155-pound division. One of the most esteemed divisions in the UFC. He's 25 and he's this good already. He's got another 8 years to develop as a fighter. I'm really looking forward to Arman's career. And I kind of let the cat out of the bag here. I'm picking Arman Tsarukyan to beat Mateusz Gamrot. I really do think Mateusz Gamrot is something special. But I've watched the two of their bouts next to each other. And Arman's taken on slightly better guys than Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot arguably should have got the win over Guram Kutateladze. But I will say this. It was close enough to where it was like, this or that, like it was pretty even. I think Mateusz Gamrot won 2 of the rounds, and in those rounds he was on top of, Guram Kutateladze, so I thought, they should lean his way because of the control time. I know Guram had him in some weird positions on the ground where he was going for an arm and stuff like that, but they weren't really submission positions. He was just tangling Mateusz Gamrot up in weird positions and stuff like that. It's not like he had him in an arm bar and in a leg lock and things like that, but even still, Guram took that fight on very short notice. And you can really quite confidently argue that if Guram took that fight on full camp, he would have definitely beaten Mateusz Gamrot and had a much better performance than he actually did. And still, he got the judge's decision win over Mateusz Gamrot. But Mateusz Gamrot has been looking good. He destroyed Scott Holtzman in the second round with a brutal KO. He immediately made Jeremy Stephens, he sunned Jeremy Stephens. I know we're past Father's Day now. It was yesterday, but still, he sunned Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens said, oh, you know what? I went 3 rounds with Zabit. I went 3 rounds with Yair Rodriguez. I'm going to come up and take this Mateusz Gamrot guy on. And Mateusz said, okay. Took him down immediately in the first round and Kimura'd him like he was absolutely nothing. So Mateusz can make low-level guys look really easy. Arman can do that as well. But I think in terms of consistent performances, Arman Tsarukyan looks good against everyone, even on his debut when he's 21 years of age. I was watching this guy's regional fights before he came over to the UFC originally, and I picked him to beat Makhachev in his debut. Makhachev was a big favourite, and I said, Arman Tsarukyan might beat this guy. It's kind of a 50-50. I'm picking this massive underdog in Arman Tsarukyan. And he actually went on to have a really close fight against Islam Makhachev over the 3 rounds. Didn't catch Makhachev with a KO blow and drop him. Didn't catch him in a submission or anything like that. He just went in there and fought minute for minute against Islam Makhachev and had a really good performance and barely lost because Makhachev just did a slight bit more work with total strikes and positional control and stuff like that. But after seeing that match matchup. I knew Arman was going to be something special. I picked Joel Alvarez to beat him as a massive underdog because Joel was a fucking weight bully and a half. He is the biggest weight bully ever, and he was making Arman look tiny. So I thought, you know what, Joel's dangerous, he's big, he's powerful, but seeing what Arman did to him, I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm completely sold on Arman Tsarukyan. Destroyed Joel Alvarez, took his feet out underneath him in the first round as Joel went for a kick. He's got great timing, great speed. He made Christos Giagos look so easy in their matchup as well and finished him immediately. And yeah, I'm going to have to go with Arman here, man. He's got much better cardio than Mateusz Gamrot, and you know, we'll talk about other matchups that Mateusz Gamrot has had. The fight against Carlos Diego Ferreira, I kind of feel like he got kind of lucky that he broke the rib of Diego Ferreira. Now, I know that it's not lucky. Like, he meant to throw the knee. He meant to do the damage there. But I don't think Gamrot thought that was a fight-ending shot. I don't think Gamrot threw that knee thinking, you know what, I'm going to finish him right now. I reckon he threw that knee to the body just to keep busy in the clinch and start tallying up some points for himself. It caught Diego Ferreira right on that floating rib, the lower rib, the weakest one, the smallest one, and that one cracked. And Diego Ferreira felt it and tapped out and said no more. I feel like Mateusz Gamrot was slowing down in that matchup. He was starting to get figured out on the feet by Diego Ferreira. And Diego Ferreira's good, but he's older. He's shown himself to just be sort of a bit of a journeyman of the lightweight division at this point. He was looking good against Gamrot, and people don't look good against Arman. He just ragdolls them, or he finishes them early on the feet. Or if they're a jiu-jitsu guy like Davey Ramos, he just schools them on the feet for 3 rounds. Or Joel Alvarez, a stand-up guy with danger. He maybe can get a couple of good submissions when people shoot on him. Massive guy for the division. He just mauls him and destroys him with elbows immediately. Like, this guy has a different level of speed, a different level of strength, and he's 25 years of age. I don't know what we're going to see next from him. He's only going to improve. Mateusz Gamrot might be at a time in his career right now because he's had so many fights. He was fighting for KSW. He's fought for championships before. I believe he was a 2-weight world champion over at KSW before coming over to the UFC. And he's fought for so many belts. He's been around at the top for a very long time. I feel like he's like adding micro adjustments to his game. Like, maybe I'll get my jab a little bit better. Maybe I can make my right hand a little bit cleaner. Maybe I'll start working the body a bit more. But Arman Tsarukyan is 25. He's going to be making leaps and bounds at this point in his career. And I believe his cardio is his biggest weapon that he can use here against Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot is good, and I think he's going to be good enough not to get destroyed early by Arman Tsarukyan. He's going to be one of those level of opponents like an Islam Makhachev was, where you just sort of, Arman can't really get things going early on. I think both guys are going to land some decent shots early in the first round. Mateusz Gamrot's going to shoot first. Arman's going to scramble with him. Arman's going to shoot. Mateusz is going to scramble with him. And they're both just going to be scrambling around against the cage, kneeing each other to the body, punching each other in the clinch, landing some shots at range in the first 2 rounds. Both guys are going to be doing good. Maybe 1 round goes Gamrot's way in the first, 1 round goes Arman Tsarukyan ways in the second, and then once the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds start coming, I think we're going to see Mateusz Gamrot start slowing down. He really looked like he was puffing air in that Diego Ferreira matchup, and Ferreira did hit him with a lot of front kicks to the body, and maybe that's a part of it, but still, when he doesn't really get his own way with the grappling and can't establish good control time, he does start to slow down quite a bit. Like, in all honesty, with Garam coming in on short notice, Gamrot, you should be melting him in the 3rd round. You've had all of the preparation. Fair play, he didn't have a full camp, but he had a much longer camp than Garam Kutsaledze did. So he should be the one melting Garam in the 3rd round, and he kind of was, but not really. So I don't think he's got the best of cardio. I think it's going to be a very high-paced matchup, and we've never seen Arman Tsarukyan slow down. He doesn't slow down. Even in a 3-round grappling fest against Makhachev, he's still pushing for stuff in the 3rd round, trying to make things happen. You know what I mean? Against Matt Frevola, he just ragdolls him, sets almost a takedown record, maybe a takedown record at lightweight, and just schools him over 3 rounds and keeps throwing him around. It doesn't matter if you get back up, you're going back down again. Like, he's got a crazy pace that he sets on his opponents, and I think eventually Mateusz Gamrot's going to start to feel that pace, start to slow down in later rounds of this matchup. Maybe round 4, round 5, TKO to ground and pound from Arman Tsarukyan. Maybe he hurts Gamrot to the body against a cage and then starts landing some shots, and then Gamrot shoots. And he starts touching him with some total strikes to the side of the head. And Gamrot rolls over and Arman starts pouring it on. And the referee's like, you got to move, fighter. You got to get out of there, Gamrot. Show me something, Gamrot. Move out of there. Increase your position. Like, make it look better. And I just think Gamrot's going to be gassed in that matchup. And Arman Tsarukyan's going to take this one home. Big win if he does get it done. And if he does get it done, I think it's time for the lightweights to start manning up a bit, to be honest with you. I really do. Poirier, forget Diaz, Gaethje, like, let's get back in there against some of these up-and-comers. I feel like over the past few years, there's been like this alternate universe thing in the lightweight division. Like, there's just been this like mirrored universe, like right down the middle, right there. You've got like Gaethje, Poirier, all the top guys. And then the rest of them that are just begging to get a chance against them. Like, Makhachev hasn't got a top 5 guy yet. And that's mainly because Ali Abdelaziz manages a lot of them. So he's not going to make, like, a Makhachev versus Gaethje or any of those types of matchups. And some of them have similar managements as well. It's not just Ali Abdelaziz. But still, you know, there's been so many similar matchups that they don't really want to cancel out 2 of their own guys against each other. But, fight each other. Fight each other. Let's get it going, Gaethje. I'm sick of like, well, now I've lost the title. Now I've lost fighting for the belt in my division. Time to go to 170. Time to look for a super fight. Super fight, anyone? Conor McGregor? Please, Conor McGregor. Anything. I'll do anything. Even Oliveira right now calling out Conor McGregor. Like, no. Let's start making these matchups with these up-and-comers. They deserve a career as well. You know what I mean? So I think the winner of this one should be looking at like a Justin Gaethje. Or a Dustin Poirier. Or maybe not. Maybe they should be... Maybe the winner of RDA Fiziev has earned it more. So maybe the winner of this one can be looking at a Michael Chandler in the lightweight division, which probably won't happen either. This is the problem at lightweight, man. There's just so many big names and there's so many big matchups that it's going to... The desire to make big marketable matchups is going to overcome the desire to make matchups that make sense for the rankings. Because ideally right now, Chandler's just beat Ferguson, who was below him. He's coming off 1 win. He lost before that one. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to get a title shot. He lost for the belt before that as well. So ideally, Chandler should be next for the winner of this, but that's just not going to be the case. So I would recommend, if Arman wins this, just be ready. Be ready for anything that happens, because you're going to be probably in the top 8, top 7, maybe just below Michael Chandler in the rankings. Call out Michael Chandler maybe, but if you can't get that matchup, stay ready, because with all the matchups that are going to be getting made towards the end of this year in the lightweight division, you want to be the guy that's ready to answer the call. You could be the backup for certain matchups that get made as well. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen to the winner of this, though. It's a pretty tricky situation. Maybe you should call out Beneil Dariush. Think about that. Chandler versus McGregor, Poirier versus Gaethje, Oliveira versus Makhachev, Tony Ferguson versus Dan Hooker. That leaves one guy. If they're not going to do Makhachev versus Dariush, I think Arman should call out Dariush. That'll get him a title shot, or at least get him in a position for a title elimination bout, guaranteed. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Gamrot's good, just not quite as good as Arman. And that cardio, we haven't seen a real weakness in Arman yet. We've seen a bit of a weakness in Gamrot, and that's what I'm basing this on. Plus 25. Who knows what version we're going to see. See you later. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. Goodbye.